Time for Hot Picks. You often hear guests talking about trying to navigate tariffs and trade uncertainty by finding companies that are much more resilient to that story. But what goes into that process? Well, our next guest is here to highlight some industrial-related stocks that could fit that bill. Ernest Wong is head of research at Baskin Wealth Management and joins us in studio. Ernest, nice to see you.
Happy to be here.
So let's first of all talk about what you're looking for with a company that screams resilience. What's the recipe for that?
Right. So in industrials, I think there's a lot of things going on in the world. It's not a bold thing to say. There are tariffs. There's worries about inflation that we saw in the numbers this morning. And I think with industrials, what you want is a company that is a critical supplier to the end market that they are serving. And what that does is that because they are usually the only supplier of that product or service, they have the ability to raise prices to respond to whatever comes their way.
Okay, against that backdrop, let's get into some hot picks that you've come to the table with. Waste Connections in the waste management business, WCN. What is it about that business that stands out to you?
So we really like the waste business. This is a business that is economically resilient because people and businesses are always going to be throwing away garbage, regardless of whether there's a recession or whether there's tariffs. And Waste Connections is one of the big three operators of waste collection services. What they do is that they focus on markets where they can either have an exclusive contract for collecting waste within that municipality, or in markets where they are vertically integrated, where they provide the collection to the disposal and they own the landfill at the end. So what that does is that allows them to have pricing power, and they have superior margins versus the rest of the industry.
All right, and some of these waste stocks over the last decade are real standouts. Your next pick has also been a long-term standout. The company is called Copart. What is it about this business that makes your list?
So Copart is the largest provider of salvage auctions. And the way that this works is that if you get into a car accident and the insurance company declares your car a total loss, the insurance company will very likely send that car to a salvage auction where scrappers and people in emerging markets will bid on this car. And the reason that, this is a really good business, it just collects fees on the volumes that pass through the auctions and benefits from a few trends. Number one, as cars become more complex and more costly to repair, it becomes more economically efficient for the insurance company to send it to the auction. And another thing that it benefits from is that over time, as cars are getting older and as people are staring at their iPhones while they're driving, that has caused more accidents and driven more volumes through Copart auctions as well.
Wow. All right. Well, thanks for connecting the dots on those two. And then the final one is TransDigm, which has had a nice run. The aerospace sector has been getting a lot of attention recently. But what is it about this business that stands out to you?
So what TransDigm does is that they're a provider of aerospace parts for Boeing and Airbus and the defense industries. And these are parts that are often specified in the regulations for the plane to operate properly. So without the TransDigm part, you simply cannot operate the plane as is required by law. And as you would expect, TransDigm has the ability to raise prices on these parts. The commercial airlines require these parts to keep their operations moving, and they've done a terrific job of making acquisitions and adding to their portfolio of parts over time.
All right. And I know with Baskin, you guys are not necessarily investing for the short term. You're long-term thinkers. So with all these companies, these are the kinds of investments that you're looking at for a longer haul, generally speaking?
Yeah, so these are all terrific compounders that have very strong management teams and have done a really good job over time of compounding their cash flows and doing intelligent things with the money that they're making, whether it be growing their footprint in the case of Copart or in making acquisitions in the case of TransDigm and Waste Connections.